From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. An Israeli airstrike has struck a group of civilians in the Yabna refugee camp in Rafah, Gaza. According to Wafa news agency, at least 5 people were killed, including 3 children, with several others wounded. As well, air attacks on Jabalia and Beit Lahia in northern Gaza killed 18 Palestinians. The Israeli military confirmed hitting approximately 70 targets in Gaza over the last 24 hours. Early Tuesday morning, Israeli forces started a raid in Jenin, West Bank, where at least 7 people, including a teacher, a doctor, and a 9th grade student, were killed. Usaid Kamal Jabarin, a 50-year-old surgeon, was shot dead while heading to the hospital. Palestinian journalist Amra Mansara was injured in the leg by Israeli sniper fire while covering raids near Khalil Salman Hospital in Jenin. The UN has raised alarms about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, stating that 40% of the population, over 900,000 people, have been displaced in recent weeks. On Monday, UN official Edem Wasornu briefed the Security Council, highlighting dire conditions in Khan Yunis and Deir al-Balah, where many have sought refuge. He said Gaza faces severe shortages of food, water, and shelter, with 1.1 million Palestinians at risk of famine. At least 35,562 Palestinians have been killed and 79,652 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza since October 7th. Israel is accused of genocide at the International Court of Justice. The World Court has ordered Tel Aviv to ensure its forces do not commit acts of genocide and take measures to guarantee that humanitarian assistance is provided to civilians in Gaza. Palestinian families who fled Rafah due to Israeli attacks were forced to take shelter in partially destroyed schools in Khan Yunis, a southern city of Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has criticized the International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, for seeking arrest warrants against him. Netanyahu labeled the move as absurd and false, accusing the ICC of targeting Israel as a whole. Khan's request targets Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant alongside Yahya Sinwar, Mohammad Deif, and Ismail Haniyeh from Hamas. Netanyahu condemned the comparison between Israeli soldiers and Palestinian fighters, calling it a distortion of reality and a manifestation of new anti-Semitism. He claims such comparisons perpetuate bias against Israel and undermine its democratic values. Netanyahu's remarks reflect escalating tensions between Israel and the ICC as Israel's government frames the issue as a battle against anti-Semitism on the international stage.
The outrageous decision by the ICC prosecutor, Karim Khan, to seek arrest warrants against the democratically elected leaders of Israel is a moral outrage of historic proportions. It will cast an everlasting mark of shame on the International Court. Mr. Khan creates a twisted and false moral equivalence between the leaders of Israel and the henchmen of Hamas. This is like creating a moral equivalence after September 11th between President Bush and Osama bin Laden, or during World War II between FDR and Hitler.
In related news, human rights advocates around the world slammed President Joe Biden for his condemnation of the International Criminal Court's move to seek arrest warrants for Israeli and Palestinian leaders. Biden's denunciation drew ire for its perceived double standards, with critics accusing him of defending atrocities. The president blasted the effort to arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, calling it outrageous. Biden said the U.S. will always stand with Israel against threats to its security. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reiterated Biden's pro-Israel stance, rejecting any equivalence between Israel and Palestinian resistance groups.
Let me be clear. We reject the ICC's application for arrest warrants against Israeli leaders. Whatever these warrants may imply, there is no equivalence between Israel and Hamas.
Muslim groups launch legal defense for students supporting Palestine. Details after the break, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. 3 American Muslim organizations have initiated the Student Lawyer Campus Legal Defense Initiative. The move comes in response to mass arrests and blowback for students involved in activism for the Free Palestine movement across the United States. The online database connects willing criminal defense attorneys with affected students, many of whom were arrested during sit-ins demanding their schools divest from Israel. Hundreds of students nationwide also face misdemeanor charges like trespassing. The U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations, the Council on American Islamic Relations, and the Muslim Legal Fund of America are urging attorneys experienced in criminal defense to join and assist students in navigating legal proceedings. In a joint statement, they said criminal defense attorneys have a unique and important role in resolving the charges and other legal threats to students. Florida's Department of Education has launched an investigation into a private Muslim school. The department is demanding that Reviver Academy in Northeast Miami-Dade disclose all staff details or risk losing taxpayer-funded vouchers. The school currently benefits 74 students with $500,000 in vouchers. The move follows remarks by Imam Fadi Kabalawi at the school's mosque. He referred to Israeli soldiers as worse than the Nazis and made a number of comments about Jews. Republican Representative Randy Fine initiated the investigation into Reviver Academy. This was after bipartisan pressure from Jewish lawmakers, including a call to revoke Kabalawi's dental license. Department of Education official Kathy Russell condemned calls for genocide, urging clarification on whether students were present during Kabalawi's statements. Officials at Reviver Academy have not yet responded. However, Kabalawi intends legal action if the state proceeds with the case. Muslim nonprofit The Emerald Project worked with the Natural History Museum of Utah to host an event last Saturday to challenge Islamophobia and bring the community together. The museum hosted the 4th annual Islam the Islamophobia event. This featured poetry, prose, and art performances by local Muslims with a focus on youth, aiming to build empathy and understanding. The Emerald Project's executive director, Satin Tashnizi, stressed the importance of nurturing young voices straddling multiple cultures. Participants also said art plays an important role in humanizing the Muslim community. Approximately 30 Rohingya individuals were killed in recent clashes between Burma's military junta and Buddhist insurgents. The violence escalated last Friday after junta airstrikes struck Butidong Township, killing 12 Rohingya civilians. Insurgents later bombed a school where Rohingya sought shelter, killing 18 more people. Approximately 200 people were injured in the attacks. Both the junta and the Buddhist Arakan army allegedly want to involve Rohingya in their conflicts. This has worsened the plight of the long-persecuted Burmese minority group. Reports suggest the AA's Buddhist fighters have forced tens of thousands of Rohingya to flee their homes. Others were reportedly detained near Butidong prison. However, disruptions in communication have impeded confirmation of these accounts. The conflict underscores the ongoing plight of the Rohingya. Over 500,000 still reside in Burma's Rakhine state, with many in camps for internally displaced persons. In 2017, over 700,000 Rohingya fled the country after a Burmese military genocide targeting them. Most fled to neighboring Bangladesh, where they have been sheltering in camps. UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk is warning of a humanitarian catastrophe if the Sudanese town of El-Fasher comes under attack. The capital of North Darfur is currently facing escalating violence with arbitrary killings, village burnings, and a tightening siege cutting off aid and trade. The ongoing conflict between military and paramilitary forces, which began over a year ago, has spread across Sudan. It has killed more than 15,000 civilians and displaced over 8 million. Approximately 25 million people, including 14 million children, need assistance, but humanitarian funding is falling short despite pledges. Turk's spokesperson emphasized the catastrophic impact on civilians and warned of further intercommunal conflict. Ed Dwight, America's pioneering black astronaut candidate, finally realized his dream of space travel after 6 decades. Blue Origin's NS-25 mission on Sunday saw the 90-year-old soar into space alongside 5 other passengers. Expressing exhilaration post-flight, Dwight described it as life-changing. Dwight's journey, funded in part by Space for Humanity, broke records, making him the oldest space traveler. Dwight was first recommended to NASA by the Air Force during President John F. Kennedy's administration in the 1960s, but he was not selected for the 1963 astronaut class, which included only future Gemini and Apollo astronauts, such as Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins. Despite his qualifications, NASA did not select its first black astronauts until 1978. Guillaume Buford became the first African American in space in 1983.
I thought I really didn't need this in my life, but now I need it in my life. This is fabulous. Thank you so much. Thank you. Fantastic. Absolutely. This is a life-changing experience. Everybody needs to do this.
Everybody needs to do this. I love it.
That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Your support is needed now more than ever to continue our mission of providing informative, educational, and inspiring content to Muslims in North America and around the world. Donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.